Hey everybody, it's Joshua. This is your long-awaited hip stretch video. I know that this is, I've been trying to get to this video for a long time. I've been sick and vertigo and all the different things that are happening. But this is your 5-minute stretch to help with opening up your hips. It's a series of stretches that I created. Well, I didn't create the stretches, but I created the sequence. I know a lot of my clients have been looking forward to this. This will help with your hip flexors, the extensors, adductors, abductors, and your hip rotators. So follow along, and when you're done, hopefully your hips will feel much better. You combine this with the massages that you get, your hips will feel a lot better. All right, so the first stretch we're gonna do is the lunge. All right, everybody's done a lunge before. Now, depending on how your hips currently feel, how your feet are, how your legs feel, you can take this lunge pretty low down to the ground. Just make sure you keep that back leg straight, all right? This for 30 seconds, turn around, do the other side for 30 seconds. All right, your next stretch, similar to a lunge, which is why we call it the reverse lunge. I'm gonna drop my back leg down to the ground onto my knee, go up onto my toes back here, just like this lunge. Now my front foot will come out of video just because I'm using my phone right now, but I'll move that front foot pretty far and I can reverse lunge right in, and I can get my hips as close to the ground as I feel comfortable in doing. All right, so if this is all I can do for the first week, that's fine, but eventually we want to lean forward, lean forward, lean forward, and really you'll get a stretch in your quads and a great stretch through your hips. The next stretch, is the butterfly. We're gonna bring our feet together, all right? A lot of people will end up starting, especially if you have hip problems, starting with their knees really high up here. If this is all that you can do, that's fine. And a lot of people also make the mistake of holding their feet like that's gonna help. That's fine as well. However, what I like to do is move my hands up to my ankles. That way I have my elbows that can help press down these legs, okay? I have a lot of hip flexor issues and probably need to get that massage right through my pelvic area there. But this is a nice place to be. Some people, yes, they can end up laying their legs all the way flat without having to cheat like I just did. Okay, we want to get them here someday, but having our feet together first, right? Move up to the ankles where you grab them, and then use your elbows. You can just push them down, right? Even that pumping motion, release, pump down, release, pump down. You can start stretching those muscles. All right, my next stretch is the quad stretch. I'm gonna pre-warn you that this can be a very rough stretch for newbies. I've been doing this stretch every night for a long time, and if I jump into this stretch super fast, I could pull my quad out. My quads are always tight. Everybody knows I stand for a living and do massages, so my quads are pretty tight. If you're new to stretching, so I would suggest slowly getting into this stretch because it's a little rough. Right, I'm gonna back up so that you can see it properly, and we'll do the left side so that you can see. I'm gonna sit up, I'm gonna keep my right leg straight, and I'm gonna bend this left leg, all right? Bring that foot as close into your hip as possible. Some people, you might only be able to get it here, and that's fine. But eventually we wanna work so that that foot is basically tucked under my left glute, okay? So right leg straight, left leg bent, and I am going to take my elbows to the ground. You're gonna lose my face for a little bit. What I would like to do is get my back all the way to the floor, okay? That doesn't seem like much, and maybe this is as far as you can go, is just sitting here, all right? Maybe even sitting here. I don't feel quite as much of a stretch when I'm all the way sitting up, but as I start to go back and I go back and I go back and I go back and I have to fall down on my elbows and I lay all the way down, I can really feel that quad stretch, all right? What tends to happen, and I let it happen, I don't know if you saw it on the video, is that knee tends to start rising up off the ground. You can use your hands and press that knee back down. If I'm laying flat and my leg is laying flat, I'm gonna really get that. The next one is the yoga pose. The next two, actually. This one is called lizard pose. I like this a lot because it's, again, opening up that hip joint, and you can get multiple muscles at the same time. I think I'll probably try doing this towards you because that's gonna be the best view that you have, right? Basically in a modified lunge, knee down on the ground, this foot forward, my right foot. I'm gonna lean just like I'm going into a lunge. I'm gonna bring my hands down to the ground. What you might be able to see is this knee comes up off the ground, right? So now, arm, leg. So the leg is outside as opposed to runners where the leg would be on the inside. I'm gonna bring it here. And maybe this is as far as I can go. I do wanna try to get my hip, not necessarily the knee, but the hip to go as close to the ground as possible. Now I stretch my hips quite a bit, so mine will go really close to the ground. And this knee should start coming up closer to my face because I'm lowering. What you probably can't see there is my knee is not touching the ground there. The point is to have that straight back leg and bring the hip down without bringing the knee all the way down, right? So you get a really great stretch there. 30 seconds. All right, everybody, the last stretch in this series is pigeon pose. If you know me, I have recommended pigeon pose to every client who has hip problems. It's a little challenging, but it really opens up that hip. I did a video years and years ago when I first became a massage therapist. It was so very bad. But of course I included pigeon pose in there. It is a really fantastic hip opener. It looks harder than it is. It really takes a little bit of work to get into, and a little bit of work to understand how to get into it. So what I'm gonna do is start up on all fours. All right, I think maybe at a diagonal is the best place you can see this, okay? I'm gonna do my right hip, or maybe I'll do my left hip. That way you can see it because that's towards the camera there. So with my right leg, I'm gonna bring that right leg straight back, and then I'm gonna bring my left knee forward. Now, what I need to do here is bring that left ankle up and across, and then try to sit down onto the ground, okay? I'll move my hands so that you can see. But basically my pelvic bone is going to the ground. I have my left hip, my left leg in front of me, and I can bring this ankle so that it's almost straight across. Most people won't be able to get it straight across. This ankle is gonna wanna stay close to the groin, and that's fine to start with. Just try to get your pelvic bone as close to the ground as possible, right? I don't want this. I haven't done anything yet. I wanna get my pelvic bone to where I can almost put this butt cheek onto the ground, okay? This is where most people stop. I can take this foot, if I try to straighten it out, that's where I'm gonna get a great stretch. But whether it's here or it's here, whichever one, I'm gonna tuck it in because that's where most people will start. This is where most people, especially in yoga, stop. What you need to try to do is take your hands and walk and try to get your chest to the ground. Now, sometimes this is as low as we can get, down to my elbows. Fine, don't judge. Do that for a week. The next week, try to walk it out even further and further and further until you are basically laying right on top of that front leg, okay? This is pigeon pose. I have to get out of that. So in pigeon pose, the closer you get down to the ground, your butt sometimes wants to start rising, okay? Push that butt and that groin to the ground. And then if I'm doing, like, let's say my right side facing the camera, that right side will sometimes want to rise because you'll feel the stretch there, and people tend to bounce out of the stretch like, oh, I don't know if I like that. You do. It's really great for your body. Roll that hip back into the ground, and as close, as you start to do that, you'll start to feel more of a stretch. You don't want to go too far, right? You should be able to tell in your body that's about to slip, that's about to pull. and then you want to pull back. Okay, so every time we do this, if you're going to do this for a week or a month, or if you're like me, I try to do hip stretches every night because I do have a really bad right hip. And every single time that you do it, you want to try to push further into the stretch. Within just a couple of months, you'll be laying flat on the ground. Okay. You do these in combination with the massages that we do, or the acupuncture or chiropractic, and then stretch. Stretching is so very valuable to my body, to everybody's body. So if you just spend every single day doing, what is this? It takes you 5 minutes to do all of these stretches on both sides. You're gonna see your hips really open up. When your hips open up, your core gets stronger, your low back releases, and you start to feel a lot better. Thanks.